Hi, hello there. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are working on my October daily, days 21 through 25. This one is going to be a little bit longer of a video because I just did the most for all of these spreads, I feel like. So let's get right into it. So for this first spread that I'm doing for day 21, I wanted to ask everybody in our family what their favorite thing about Halloween was, and I wanted to document that. So this little tag that I'm showing you is basically what I will be making to document their answers. That first one was kind of like a test that I did off camera, but I am going to go ahead and show you how I did that. So this background page, I am going to use my Holtz edge distressor to kind of roughen up the edges here. You're going to see me do one side and then I'm just going to do the rest off camera. And then I'm going to use a little glassine bag that I got from an order that I'd placed, and I just keep those when I get them in orders and reuse them. So I'm going to get the background cardstock taped down and then I will start working on the tags. The tags, since they were so involved, I didn't do much else with this particular spread other than add a few stickers at the end. Alright, so now I've got that taped down, so I am going to go ahead and start putting together the rest of our tags. So there's 5 people in our family, so my plan was to have 2 tags back to back. And since 2 tags back to back would have 6 total slots, I'm going to use the final slot, or side I guess, as just a place to add some stickers. So the rectangles that I'm taping together right now are much bigger than what I actually needed, but I decided to make them smaller after I had already cut everything out. So I figured it would be easiest if I just taped it together and then used my original finished tag as a guide. So that's what I'm doing now. I taped those together and then I'm trimming them down to the size that I actually want them to be. This little kind of tombstone tag image that I've got here was an image that I found in Cricut Design Space. I could have used my Cricut to cut it out, but I actually pulled the image into Photoshop and just kind of changed all of the colors to be different variations of orange. And I also wanted to add text as well. So I figured it would just be easier for me to do all that in Photoshop. Plus I didn't have Cricut hooked up on my new computer yet. So I was just doing what I felt was easiest at the time, but it probably would have been easier just to use the Cricut to cut it. So I've got everything laid out back to back on the specific templates that I want them to be on. So I am going to add a small piece of orange ribbon to each of them and use my Holtz tiny attacher to attach everything together. After I get it all attached, I will trim down the ribbon a little bit because I don't want it to be super long. And then I will move forward to the next one. So as I'm doing this, I did want to read to you everybody's answers. So Oliver told me that his favorite thing about Halloween was trick-or-treating and scaring people. Luna said that her favorite thing about Halloween was pink Halloween princess dress up. Leland advised us that his favorite thing about Halloween was dressing up in costumes and trick-or-treating. My husband's favorite thing about Halloween was scary stuff. And then my answer was decorating for spooky season and going on family adventures, which we did a lot of this year. So I am pretty pleased with our Halloween season. So I am going to go ahead and figure out how I want to get this taped down. So I took the tags out, but I will end up putting one of them back in just to kind of make sure that I have my placement where I want it. I want the bag to be placed where it's going to be when the tags are in it. So I'm going to go ahead and get that back on the paper and taped down. And then I'm going to pull out a piece of, I'm not sure if this was an actual embellishment or a scrap that I just had put to the side, but a little piece of orange striped scrap. And on that I'm going to write what is your favorite thing about Halloween? Because that is the question that we were all answering. So I'll get that taped down, and then I'm going to use a 1 inch or half an inch, actually, I think, circle punch to punch out a orange circle from that scrap background paper that I was using, and then stamp my 21 on that. Off camera, after I remembered that I have word stickers, I do come back and add favorites, like a favorite word sticker to this particular page, which you will see in the final photos. Okay, and moving on to spread 22, story 22. So this one is going to be about our favorite candies. How I did this particular spread was I just pulled out a piece of white cardstock and just kind of dumped out the remaining candy from our candy bin that we have left over from Halloween. So obviously all of the good things and all of the favorites that we would choose are not going to be in this picture, but I did like the idea of having a bunch of candy scattered around and then just having candy written real big in the middle of it. So in the middle of this page, I am using the Ali Edwards digital download for her handwriting stamp set. And then she also did send out, I think it was a freebie for being a part of her newsletter, but like a little handwritten trick or treat. So both of those are from Ali Edwards. And then I am just going to go ahead and sew around the edge of my main candy photo, and then get everything taped down. I'm going to struggle a little bit here for a minute because this whole time I've been using the tape roller that I absolutely hate, and I didn't realize it until probably at this point in recording that I was using the wrong one. You can see that I just switched it to a different tape roller. But yeah, so I'm going to get everything taped down and then add a couple puffy stickers. I actually did quite a bit to this particular spread off camera, mostly because I thought I was done, and then I found a bunch of multi-dimensional candy stickers in my stash as I was kind of trying to get my Halloween stuff organized up. And I was like, wow, this would look really great on my candy page. So I came back and I added a bunch of extra stuff to this page after the fact. I don't believe I mentioned it earlier, but with this particular image, essentially how I printed this out was I just printed it on a regular 8x10 photo or just piece of paper, and then I just cut it down the middle with the intention that I was going to be splitting it between two pages essentially. I want to, with the rest of my spreads, do as many of them on a double page as I can, and you'll notice that as we move forward through the rest of my videos, because I had at this point so many blank pages at the end of my book, and I wanted to use up as much as I possibly could, because primarily I've been doing everything on a single page. So I'm going to move forward and start trying to do more double page layouts. Here is where I remember that I have these word stickers. So I'm going to add one to this page, and then I think this is when I go back and I add stuff to the other page as well. I don't think I do it on camera though. I think I do it when my battery dies. All right, moving on to story 23. So for this story, I'm going to be documenting our trip to the corn maze / pumpkin patch. And I just pulled out all of my scrap pieces of paper. And I've got so many of those, as you can see on the right hand of the screen. So I'm just going to try and use what I can. I pulled out 2 from this pile that I'm going to use on this spread. And I'm going to use my marmalade, I think it is, Distress Oxide, to just kind of add a little bit of oomph around this particular paper. And then I'll also come in with a little bit of the black soot color as well, and just to kind of add a little bit more dimension to the stamping in the background. All of the like main family photos that we have from this day were all taken by my husband, so he unfortunately didn't get in any of them. And I asked him why he did it, and he was just like, I was just worried about taking pictures of you guys. So I guess, I don't know, maybe he didn't feel like being in pictures this day, but he's not in any of our family ones, and I was a little bit sad when I realized that after we got home. He did take one picture with me though, which is in this spread. So here I'm adding the black soot. I did start doing second layer stamping or second generation stamping, and then just plopped a couple right on the page. So I'm not really sure if I just decided not to do that anymore or if I forgot what I was doing. But yeah, and then I'm just going to kind of stamp off my stamp over on the left side of the page, just to add a little bit more to that part, and then also just kind of clean off my stamp a little bit. So now I'm just kind of laying out my papers, kind of seeing how I want them to sit, and I'm going to cut these 2 down so that they go across the 2 pages as well. But I don't want them to go directly into the center because I know that will cause issues with the book binding. And my book is already so bulky as it is, so I'm trying to stay away from the center if I can. So I'm going to layer these 2 papers on top of each other, and then I'm going to tape them together first, because I'm actually going to use my X-Acto knife and cut a little pocket in this particular background that I'm doing right now. So in order to cut this pocket, I am going to use my X-Acto knife and my mini cutting mat, and I'm going to cut 2 lines. I think I did them about like 3 or 4 inches like wide, but I also did them like a 1/16 of an inch apart, just so that the opening would be a little bit thicker, since I know I'm going to have quite a few photos going in and out of this pocket. I wanted to give the opening a little bit more room so that it wouldn't end up ripping or anything like that. I'm also going to use my little 1/2 inch circle punch to kind of make a little, I'm not even sure what those are called honestly, but like the little notches for the pockets. I thought it was cute. So I have 6 additional photos that I'm going to be taping back to back and placing in this pocket. And so you just saw me there kind of testing out to see if that would be a deep enough pocket. So here I am adding this red line tape here. If anybody has any pro tips for taking the red liner off of this red line tape, please leave them in the comments for me, because I just cannot. I literally cut out so much of every video that I use this red line tape in, because I spend significantly too much time, just too much time trying to get the little red liner off. And I've tried like with my nails, with my little tweezers, like it's just a mess. I can't do it. Anyways, so I trimmed out the remaining photos that I want to add to this spread, and kind of placed them how I think that I might want them to be laid out. And now I'm going to go ahead and get everything taped down for good. So I'm getting my pocket added. Like I said, I did the red line tape liner removal off camera because what a mess. And then I'm gonna start getting everything adhered down to my actual spread. I was struggling a little bit putting this paper down. I kept missing or like doing it slightly crooked. This third time I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just gonna put it down. It's fine. And now I'm just kind of testing to make sure all 3 of my photo packs fit. And then I will get the other side of these pattern papers taped down and then my photo taped down as well. So I'm setting it down first just so I can kind of get an idea of where I need to tape them so that it lines up with the other half of the paper. My daughter came for a little visit here and was trying to share her Pringles with me. It was very sweet, but I was like, girl, I'm trying to record my video here. So my word stickers did have one that specifically said pumpkin patch. So I am going to go ahead and get that particular one added to this spread as well. Then my daughter decided that she wanted to stay and help. So she's going to help me kind of push down the sticker and make sure it is stuck. And then I think she just kind of lingers here for a little bit. So hopefully she's not too much of a distraction for anybody. Right now I'm just kind of looking to see if there are any other word stickers that I want to add. There isn't, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to my photos. I decided that I kind of wanted to make these photos into tags. So I'm going to adhere them back to back, and then I will kind of cut little notches off the side of each of them to make it into like a little bit of a tag shape. I don't believe I add any holes or any type of like ribbon to them, but I do like the way that it looks to have that little bit of a tag shape at the top. So these photos are just kind of a picture of me and my husband while our kids were jumping on like some big inflatable jumpy thing. There is a picture of Oliver and Luna sitting among the pumpkins. Luna and I went to a little bird feeding area in the corn maze. So we got to feed, not birds, butterflies. So we got to feed some butterflies, and I was able to get a couple of really cute pictures of us with the butterflies. Then there is a picture of me and Luna and a picture of just me, which honestly, I don't think happens that often. So it's better than just a selfie, I guess. So yes, I got my tag shapes cut out, and I'm going to go ahead and get those added in there. I really like the way that this looks. So the last thing that I do need to do on this particular spread is just kind of add my story number, which is story 23, I believe. And I just flipped back to the previous spread to check that again. So I'm going to pull out the very large number stamp set that I have and get the 23 added to this spread. And then I believe that that is all that I'm doing on this page, and we will move on to story 24. For story 24, I am doing something that I personally haven't seen anybody do in an October daily. I'm not even sure if it's really something that should be done in an October daily, but here we are. So my kids love to pick me little wildflower or weed flowers or whatever they're called that they find every single time that they see one. So in my most recent Archer and Olive subscription box, I received a flower press. So I decided that we would start pressing these little flowers that they bring me. And since I was in the middle of doing my October daily, I figured it would be a great story to tell. So I've got 3 flowers that we picked. I'm messing one of them up right now because I was trying to use my tape runner instead of using actual glue. So that sucked, but I did move to glue pretty quickly after I realized that the tape runner would just rip the flower apart. So these are actual flowers that we picked from the ground together when we were doing our nature walk a few weeks back, and they've been just sitting in this flower press for weeks. So they were finally ready for me to pull out, so I decided I would make a page in my October daily about it. And especially since these colors seemed very fall to me, I felt like they would fit in pretty well. So I'm going to glue 3 of these flowers down, and then I'm going to use my washi tape from the Studio Calico Halloween kit and kind of do like a little X in washi tape on it. So really this spread is very simple. Like, I wanted the flowers to be the center of attention because I feel like there's a whole lot of meaning behind them, like thoughtfulness and like genuine feelings and stuff within these little flowers. So I didn't want to do a whole bunch of extra stuff on this particular spread and take away from the flowers. I did not leave myself a place to do any type of journaling. Originally, I had planned to do hidden journaling, but as you saw, I just taped everything completely down. So I'm going to use the white space to the left of the flowers, and I'm just drawing some lines there, and I'm going to come in off camera and just kind of fill in my journaling in that line. Before I get started on the 25th spread, I do remember that I need to add my numbers to this one as well. So I'm going to use the same number stamps and then the black soot ink, and I'm going to stamp 24, and then that's the last thing that I'll do for the pressed flowers spread. Eventually, at some point in the middle of doing the next spread, my battery dies again. So I do have to stop, and then I come back in and I do all of my journaling for a bunch of these spreads. And I will also stamp pressed love on this flower page because I thought it was just cute and went with the pressed flowers theme very well. So on story 25, I am documenting Luna and her little purple vampire teeth. My sister-in-law bought fake vampire teeth for my son's birthday party for his like little goodie bags and stuff like that. She carried this bag of fake vampire teeth around for half a day, begging me to let her open it early. So eventually I gave in and I let her open the teeth, and she had a blast with these purple teeth running around the house, acting like a vampire, trying to scare everyone, and it was adorable. All right, so anyways, for this particular page, I am using another piece of scrap paper, this Boo with the Ghosts and the Bats from Close to My Heart. I am going to take this Purple Rain ink pad from Studio Calico, and I'm going to just rub it around the edges of everything that will be on this page. I wanted to kind of give everything a little bit of like a border, but I didn't want to add too many extra layers because my my journal is already so thick. So I am going to go ahead and use this ink pad to ink around my patterned paper, my photo, the tag that I'll add my journaling to, and I think that might be it. I don't know if I go around the little mini tab at the very bottom. I don't think that I do because there's too many curves. But I'll go ahead and get it added around every single thing else. And then really all I'm doing is just taping everything down. I'm going to have the tag with the star topper tucked behind the photo, which I've done already a ton of times in other spreads. So that's not really anything new. But I'm also going to tuck that little like mini divider tab on the bottom as well. And that's where I'm going to put my number 25. So the word sticker that I'm going to add to this particular picture says Wicked Little Monster. And I just thought it was cute because Luna likes pretending to be a wicked little monster. And it also matched the colors of the whole spread so well. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get this red line tape done to go around my tab and then get everything adhered down. And that is it. That's the last thing I've got going on for today. I do have all of my other October daily videos filmed. I just have to edit them and post them. So they will be coming shortly, hopefully sooner than later. And then all I'll have to do is a final flip through. All right, so the last thing that I'm doing here is just getting everything adhered down and getting my tag added in. And then I'm going to pop back over to Story 20 and go ahead and do a flip through of all of the spreads that we've completed today. If you did make it to the end of this long video, leave me a comment below and let me know which of these spreads today were your favorite. I just absolutely cannot decide. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.